Hey everyone, welcome to my library. My name is Melissa, and today I'm doing my October wrap up, which is my first wrap up ever. I read 6 books this month, and I had 2 DNFs at the very beginning of the month. So I want to do these chronologically, I think, because it just makes more sense in my head. So I'm gonna start with what I first started out with the month, and that was this book here. And it's one of the DNFs. It's called A Taste of Blood Wine, and it's by Frida Warrington. I bought this book because the back sounded amazing, like everything I've ever wanted in a book. It starts off with this vampire who is like traipsing through the battlefield and all of like the dead bodies and stuff, and he's killing those who are asking for death, basically. And then his master shows up, and it's just the weirdest encounter ever. I DNF this after literally like 20 pages because they enter into this third dimension that only vampires can go to. I think it's called the third realm or something. Anyways, they enter into this third dimension, third realm, and it's supposed to be like the same world, but just like technicolor. Like I was trying to understand it, but I felt like you had to be high to understand what was happening in this book. It was so bad. So I DNF'd. I mean, maybe the love story gets better, but it started off really rough. I mean, I was in the vampire mood. I still am, but I was in the vampire mood, and so I tried to start off with a bang, and yeah, no, no bueno. Do not recommend. Okay, second book. Let's see. I have my notes here, so I'm trying to remember. Second book, was Halfway to the Grave by Janine Frost. I'll put that here because I actually listened to it on audio. So this is the first book in the Night Huntress series, and I really, really enjoyed it. So it follows Cat and Bones is a vampire, and she is a vampire hunter because she's half vampire, and her mom got raped by one, and she's the product of that, and so they strike up a deal to work together, and then they end up falling for each other, and it's a romance, paranormal romance. A ton of people recommend this book. I do too. I gave it 3.5 stars. I mean, so there were a couple things that brought it down for me, including I just didn't feel like the plot was that well fleshed out for me. I needed some more explanation into the world. The world building was a little bit rough. And then there was a lot of slut shaming and girl hate in this book. It's written, when was it written? 2007. So it's just, kind of a product of its time, I guess, but it did bring down a star for that. I still recommend. 3.5 is still a good rating. So that was that book. See, the second book I read was this book. So this is The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. I've owned this book forever, and so this book follows the Owens family, and it follows the 3 siblings in the Owens family. So it follows Franny, the oldest sister, Jet, the second youngest sister, and then the third one is Vincent. And so basically the story is that this family is not allowed to love. They have a curse on their family that if they fall in love, destruction will come to those who fall in love with them. So that's the whole premise of the story. It's very hocus pocus to me. Like, this is serious hocus pocus vibes. And it's the prequel to Practical Magic, which I haven't read. I thought I would start with this since it is the first book in the series. I'm very eager to start the second one. And it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I loved the character development in this. Particularly, I loved the romance between Franny and Halen. They have a very star-crossed lovers can't be together type of situation happening in this book. And it's very sweet how it comes together, because obviously Franny is trying desperately not to have him fall in love with her because she knows of the curse. But each of these siblings falls for somebody, and you know, that romance is illustrated in the book. I really loved Alice Hoffman's writing as well. It's very lyrical, very beautiful. It's probably one of the most lyrical books I've ever read. I don't read a ton of them. Like, I'm not huge into fantasy, so I don't read a ton of it. But I really enjoyed this book. If you're looking for a great witchy read, this is your book. It's really good. I loved it. The third book I finished is Cuckoos Calling by Robert Galbraith. I also gave this 4 stars. So yeah, I loved this book. It was so good. I was intrigued from the very first 10 pages that I started in this book, because I knew that there was going to be this slow burn romance, and that was what I was here for. So the story of this book is, it follows a private detective. His name is Cormoran Strike, and this is part of the first book in the Cormoran Strike series. So it follows him, and he is down on his luck. He does not have any income happening with his service, and he's planning on canceling the temp job that he has open that people keep leaving because he can't afford them. But anyways, Robin, the second main character, she shows up at his office, and they actually meet in the most hilarious way. He's dismissing his ex from the office, and they just got in a huge fight, and Robin can hear it as she's going up the stairs. And she runs, so the ex runs off, runs down the stairs, bumps into her, and then she's getting right to the top of the stairs, and Cormoran opens the door and doesn't see her, it's right away. He slams into her, and she falls backwards, and she's gonna fall down the stairs. And he grabs her and he grabs her breast accidentally. And that's how he saves her. He grabs her lapel. And anyways, so it starts off for him being really embarrassed, which he's a very stern, kept to himself guy. So when he starts off meeting her like that, and he's just apologizing frantically, trying to help her, and she's just holding herself together, trying to not cry. It was really funny. And so yeah, it starts off like that, and then she's supposed to temp for him for a week, and then obviously sparks kind of fly. It's very slow burn though. They haven't even done anything yet, and it's the end of the book. They've admired each other from across the room, and he's asked her to stay with him as a temp, or not as a temp, but as a permanent employee. Little stuff like that has happened, but I'm very eager to pick up the next one and see how their romance develops. I love when a romance develops over multiple books. So yeah, this was really, really good. I highly recommend it. Also, the main plot is there's a mystery, there's a murder mystery. So you're trying to figure out, Cormoran is trying to figure out who murdered this very, very famous model, and it follows him interviewing a ton of people in her life, and Robin being very interested in how his process works, because she has always wanted to be a private detective. And so yeah, it's just documenting that part as well. But as you can tell, I was here for the romance, so it was good. Loved it. 4 stars. Let's see. The next book I read, okay, I'm so scared to say this, because I know how much this book is hyped and loved by everyone in the romance community, I feel like. So I don't know what happened with me, but I'm just gonna say it. So I tried reading A Hunger Like No Other by Cressley Cole, because everyone has hyped up this series and said, Immortals After Dark is one of the best paranormal romance series, and that I needed to try it. So yeah, I'll put it right here, because I actually, yes, this was a DNF. I found a hardback copy at Half Price Books, and I was very excited when I found it, and so I was really eager to read it. And I actually gave it away to Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life, and she loves this series, and I knew that she did, and so I just wanted to give the book a better home. So yeah, I passed it along. But yeah, this book for me, the reason why I DNF'd is because I didn't like the main girl in this book. It starts off with I'm sorry, I can't remember their names. I need to write this down next time. But the main hero of the book, he is like chained down in this like cellar for years and years and years. And then he sniffs his mate, his fated mate, right? It's a fated mate's trope. He sniffs his mate above the ground, and I think it's in Paris. He sniffs her and he's like, okay, I gotta break free. So he breaks free. This all happens in the first 10 pages. Breaks free, finds her at this cafe, and basically takes her for himself, and takes her to this hotel, and is like telling her like, you're mine now. And she just like, if I were her, I'd be putting up a fight. Like, I'd be doing something to try to get away, and I kept waiting for her to be like, no. And she was just so complacent. That was my problem. I don't know what was happening, and I didn't know what was happening the whole time I was reading it, and I was very confused. Maybe I'm just not used to the fated mates trope. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I didn't love this book, but if you are interested in that type of book, it could be for you. Everyone else loves it, so I don't know. I just didn't. Okay, so the next book that I read the second book in the series, the Night Hunter series, and it's called One Foot in the Grave. And I won't give any spoilers just in case you haven't read it. It's kind of an older series, so if a lot of people have. But this second book just continues with their story, with Cat and Bone's story. And there's a lot of longing in this book, and a lot of miscommunication that happens between the two of them, and them trying to reconcile that. And then also Cat is being hunted, and so Bones goes into like ultra protector mode in it. And yeah, it's really cute. I liked it. It was a 3-star for me. I read it on audio. I would say I read it on audio because, like I said, I think I explained in my BookTube newbie tag, I read things on audio that I know I can read while I work. They are ones that I enjoy and love, but they're also ones I don't need a ton of brain power to read, like some of the other books that I'm going to mention. So yeah, I read this on audio, but I don't know if I recommend it on audio. The narrator that does the British accent for Bones, it was kind of cringy. I was just trying, I kind of got used to it after a while, so it was fine. But the first couple times that I heard it, especially in the first book, at the bar scene that I just talked about, I was like, wait, is this guy the main hero or is this guy a creep? Like, I can't tell. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it on audio, but it is a great series. So let's see. The 5th book I read, I finished, and I'm so proud of myself. It is The Winds of War by Herman Wouk. I started this in September, like the middle of September, and it took me a month and a half to read. It is a thick boy. And it's 885 pages. And basically how I got through it was I just told myself I would read 10 pages a day for the whole month of October, because I did the math and that's how many pages I needed to read to get it done by the end of October. So I would read 10 pages a day of this and then read whatever else I was reading. So yeah, it was kind of a slog at the end, I'm not gonna lie. This book follows a family in World War II, the Henry family, and it follows basically the father of the family. It follows him through his various jobs in the military. He ends up being an ambassador for the US in Germany right before World War II starts. The reason why I didn't love it, and I ended up giving it, a 3-star, there was a lot of infidelity in this book. So yeah, both the husband and the wife of this family both have affairs, and then it was just nasty. Like, I hated that. And then another reason I didn't love it was the unrealistic part of it, where I was just like, okay, like, I don't think that this guy would actually do this much stuff. I understand why that was a plot device to, illustrate all the happenings of World War II, but it was unrealistic. And then the things that I loved about it, though, was I learned so many new words. I was constantly, when I'm reading and I read a word that I don't know what it means, I love learning new words. So I would just be like, Alexa, tell me the definition of this word. And then she would tell me. So yeah, I learned a ton of new words in this book. And then, Alexa. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's hilarious. I don't even know where I was. Okay. The other thing that I loved about this book was the writing. It was amazing. I can tell why it is so highly rated on Goodreads. I'm glad I finished it, though. I'm very proud of myself. So, the sixth book and final book I read in the month was Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas. And I was so excited to read this book because I knew how much a ton of people have loved this, and I got it in my huge haul that I filmed, and I was very eager to read it. So yeah, and it's the first book in the Wallflower series. So yeah, I picked it up. I am not gonna lie, I didn't end up loving this book. It's another one of these books that I know is so loved in the romance community, and I don't know why it was a miss for me, but it was. I ended up giving it a 2.5. So the book follows a stable boy and a high society girl that fall in love, Aline and McKenna. Aline is the girl, McKenna is the boy, and they end up falling in love, and then her father figures out and basically threatens her that he's gonna ruin his life if she doesn't lie to him and say, hey, I don't love you, you need to leave. And so she ends up telling him that, and he leaves, and then 10 years or something later, he comes back. So it's a second chance romance, and I love second chance romances, but the reason why this book didn't hit the mark for me was there was a ton of miscommunication happening in this book, and the miscommunication trope is one of my least favorites. And basically, Aline is very insecure about something with her body that she doesn't feel like she can tell McKenna about, even though, he comes back and he comes back and ends up professing his love again to her, and they strike up their romance again, but she doesn't ever feel comfortable telling him her secret. And then that's kind of the whole plot device of the 75% of the book, I would say. And then there's also this kind of strange secondary romance that happens with her sister. And that kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting two romances in one book. I really just wanted to focus on the one couple. And instead we were having these jumping sections between both of them that I wasn't really here for. So yeah, I ended up giving this a 2.5. It felt, if you love persuasion retellings, that's what this is. It was a persuasion retelling, in my opinion. Obviously Jane Austen did it better, but I would say that if you're really loving those types of stories, maybe give this one a shot. But hi Lily. Hi. Can you sit? Sit. Okay. I still think I'm gonna continue on with the Wallflower series. I've heard great things about it, and I liked it enough that I know I will probably love other books, with different tropes as well. I love Lisa Kleypas's writing. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. If you love this book, please don't hate me. I just didn't. I'm sorry. So yeah, that was October. It was kind of meh. I didn't have any 5 stars and I had 2 DNFs. So I'm hoping November is better for sure. And I already can tell it is. I've started reading some of the ones I mentioned in my TBR and I'm loving them. So yeah, so November should be better. Anyways, if you guys would like, please like and comment. I reply to every single comment and I would love to chat with you. And please subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.